Our client Gardo owns this 2020 Honda Civic Type R, and after 4 years of owning it, this beautiful metallic black paint has seen some better days. That's what we're gonna be helping him restore and protect it with an application of our Icon Rocklear coating package. My name is Noah, I'm the founder and co-owner of Dragon Auto, here with
Jen, the co-owner and chief of operations at Dragon Auto. Let's bring our boy Gardo's paint back to life.
So first things first, we have to get all this dirt off the car. Pretty natural for any service that you might do like PPF, ceramic coatings, or Icon Rocklear. The way that we're gonna do it is we're gonna use our degreasing hand wash soap in the pressurized keg sprayer with the hand wash mitts. I'm just gonna go over the car starting from top to bottom. Anytime you're washing a vehicle, it's always advised to do that because it is the least dirty on top and the most grimy and dirty on the bottom, especially on a black car like this. And even though Rocklear is going to fill in and fix a lot of those imperfections that are about roughly 1 mil deep, we still don't want to add unnecessary imperfections on someone's car whenever possible. One reason why we're using a specialized degreasing soap is that we want to strip any previously applied waxes, sealants, spray-on ceramic coatings, like anything that could potentially cause an issue with the Rocklear trying to bond to the surface. We need to strip that out. So this isn't just regular auto detailing soap. This is specialized to prep a vehicle for coating application, whether that be a ceramic coating or, in our case, Icon Rocklear. After finishing the hand wash, Jen has already resprayed and re-lubricated the entire car to get it ready for the next part, which is the clay bar decontamination stage. So this clay bar here is from this company called Auto Magic, and they have a coarse grade clay bar. We're basically kind of exfoliating any contaminants that are lodged inside of the paint. So you can get things like iron particles from your brakes in the environment. Like if you park next to a train track station, then the train tracks actually put metal particles into the air and they fall and land on the car. So if a brand new car is ever transported by train to a dealership, for example, it'll be covered in metal particles. We can use a chemical decontaminant like an iron remover, but in this case, the iron remover drives up the cost of the job and is very stinky and would make a big mess. So because we're doing this indoors and we're not trying to cause a huge mess in here, we are gonna be using this coarse grade clay bar.
So the clay bar that we're currently using is actually pretty aggressive, and the reason why we want it to be as aggressive as it is because we wanna make sure that we get all of the contamination that is stuck on the paint. We don't want that to be under the Rocklear as it will cause it to not adhere properly. We actually don't recommend this clay bar only because it is very aggressive. So if you're doing regular detailing on your car, it potentially will leave some marring, which by the way, marring is just some light swirls or scratches that is left over that you will most likely have to polish off. So if that is not something that you're going to do with your regular detailing, then definitely do not use this clay bar. However, because Rocklear has the ability to fill in minor swirls and scratches, the marring that's caused by this clay bar will actually get filled in by the Rocklear application.
So Rocklear has the ability to fill in imperfections that are about roughly 1 mil deep. For reference, most average factory clear coat is about 2 mils in thickness. So if it's deeper than halfway into the clear coat, Rocklear cannot fill that in, that is too deep, and we have to wet sand or compound that scratch to help level it out so Rocklear can fill it in properly. Typically the iron removers or the chemical decontamination is good for cars that you're gonna ceramic coat because the ceramic coating does not have any ability to fill in imperfections. So any imperfections that you do add to the surface via clay barring, you're gonna have to polish out. And polishing removes a certain amount of clear coat. So if it's a heavy cutting compound polish, then you're gonna remove a lot of clear coat because you gotta get out a lot of deep imperfections. And if it's a fine polish, then you're gonna be removing a very, very microscopic amount of clear coat. But since Rocklear is roughly about 2.5 mils thick, we don't really have to worry about that since we are nearly doubling the thickness of the top layer of protection on the car. So you got like 2 mils of clear coat combining with 2.5 mils of Rocklear, beefing up how thick that top clear layer of protection is. So that way, any kind of physical damage has to go deeper to actually reach your base paint underneath. If you've ever seen a stock FK8 Civic Type R as well. You may notice that this is not the stock grille. Our man Gardo has excellent taste. He has the J's Racing front grille. It is a very nice aftermarket part from a Japanese manufacturer called J's Racing. I really like how it looks personally. I think it makes the front end look a lot nicer. And it's subtle touches like that that help customize and make this FK8 his own, as well as the white TE37s. So that way his does not look like every other Civic Type R. That's what I really like about the Honda community or Honda modding, is that most of the time, owners' individual preferences on how they like to modify the car to make it unique while still looking somewhat similar to the base model. Gotta really get the clay bar here into all the nooks and crannies, make sure that we're not missing anything, because if you get any misses with contamination, the Rocklear will not bond properly. So we gotta feed the clay bar into all these little crevices and make sure we're getting all the way in there.
So now that we're done with the washing step, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the polishing step using the compound that we got directly from Icon Rocklear. This does wonders with removing coatings, sealants, waxes, and all that other stuff that may have previously been put onto the car. Reason being we perform this step is we want to make sure that the paint is surgically clean for the Icon Rocklear to adhere properly to the surface. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started.
So one reason why I really like to use this Makita force rotation polisher is because this is a type of polisher that will always spin no matter what. So I can actually use it to feather the edges here on this car, but I'm not putting any pressure on this. I'm just letting the polishing pad do all the work on the surface. So this means on a curved angular car like the Civic Type R, I can just gently lift the machine up and take all the weight off of it, and then just let it work these corners without putting a lot of pressure and weight on them. Everywhere there's a corner, the paint is actually thinner than on a flat surface, and so you don't want to be too aggressive on it. But if I was using a regular dual action polisher, and this Makita actually has a dual action mode, let me switch it over, you'll see here, the machine isn't spinning normally when I try to angle it like that. So basically the force rotation polisher has a gear inside of it that forces it to turn no matter what, and this means that I can use it in all these different types of positions, like up here. I can just gently use it up here, and I don't have to stop what I'm doing for work, right? So if I switch it back over, the polisher's not really doing its job. It's actually stalled completely there. It's not moving and it's not polishing. So imagine if I had to like keep stopping what I'm doing every single time there's a corner versus this where I just let the machine do the work. But I'm actually being pretty gentle on the surface. I'm not pressing down that hard. But for the purpose of the demonstration, I had to turn the speed down. So now let's get to work. Now that we finished the compounding stage, we have already wiped off all the remaining compound residue. It's got some oils and solvents in there. We don't want that on the surface. Now it's nice and super clean for a proper Rocklear bond. And we already started taping as well. The reason why we're taping off these other surfaces is that these are plastics or rubber or plastic trims that the Rocklear does not want to bond to. So if we were to put Rocklear on this plastic, it would just start streaking and look really ugly. It does not cure and bond properly to headlights. So I'm gonna just carefully make sure that the masking tape gets all the way to the edge here. We don't want it to get on any of the paintwork and block that from getting Rocklear on there, but we want to make sure that it's not getting on the headlight either. Okay, there we go, got it nice and started. So after we're done applying the masking tape to surfaces like this headlight, or over here we have this piano black. A lot of newer cars have this. This is actually not a painted surface. This is like polished plastic. And if we apply Rocklear to it, it's just going to look very streaky. It's not gonna look good. So we wanna tape off the trim here, make sure it doesn't get on these and cause a bunch of streaky unevenness. We're gonna ceramic coat these, but we're not gonna put Rocklear on them. After we're done with all the masking tape on the entire vehicle, then we're gonna start applying the Rocklear. The masking tape is all done being applied and we are ready to start laying down the Icon Rocklear. We've already pre-mixed it earlier and let it chill in the fridge. This is our dispenser bottle. We put it in the fridge because Rocklear really likes it when it's at a low temperature. That's why we're in a nice climate controlled building right now to ensure a proper application temperature. We never want to try putting this stuff on when it's like 80 or 90 degrees. As soon as we lay it down, it's going to be very hard to work with. It's going to dry really quickly. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this foam applicator swab here to get into all the nooks and crannies and crevices, opposed to the big flat microfiber applicators. I could use these microfiber coating applicators that we do use for these big flat panels. However, for these nooks and crannies, if I take the microfiber applicator and I push it in there, this is going to be sopping wet with product. And if I push it, it's going to push that product out of the microfiber applicator, and it's going to cause the coating to become runny and cause drips down the surface. So it's just easier, neater, and cleaner if I use this little applicator tip and get a little bit of Rocklear on there. Not too much, and then I can take it along this, for example, this headlight area is perfect. So I can just run it along that whole area and really just push it in there without having to worry about the coating becoming runny and just dripping down the surface. Also, it's easier for me to shove it into areas like this right here where there is a gap between the bumper and the fender, and I can just use this, boop, get right in there. So that way we're not missing any areas. It'd be really weird if that flat applicator, if I like stop right here at the edge, but it doesn't wrap all the way over. Once again, if I try to take this and I push it in there, it's gonna push a lot of product out, become runny, drip down. We don't want that. So after I'm done with this foam applicator on all these corners and crevices, we will put the Rocklear on this microfiber one and do the big flat panels next. Once we're all done with that, Rocklear application's all done.
As you saw, getting the Civic Type R's paint back to life took careful preparation and attention to detail. The black paint really shows off how Icon Rocklear can enhance the gloss and depth while also providing the benefit of long-lasting protection from UV damage and environmental stains. If you want to see exactly how we apply Icon Rocklear to preserve another legendary Japanese performance car, check out our GTR video where we walk through the entire process step by step. That's on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and hit subscribe if you want to see more cars getting the Dragon Auto treatment. I'll catch you in the next one.